So, all that to be said, 10-second recap. Life's got a lot of hard moments, and in all of the moments, whether it's neutral, good, or bad, I believe that the enemy really, really, really wants to make you feel anything but joy, right? Keep your mind busy. Keep your mind focused on all the things you don't have. What I don't want this to be is, oh, go be happy because what you have is enough. I just want you to be aware. There's a verse in the Bible and it says, take every thought captive and make it obedient to the mind of Christ. I have a whole thing right here I want to talk about. This is kind of going a different direction, but I feel like it's the Holy Spirit more than anything. Make. What do you think of the word take? Anyone?
You're getting from someone else something that you want.
You're doing. Take and make are doing words.
Mm-hmm.
Take every thought captive, right? Make it. That is about as forceful as you can sound. Take and make. I mean, that right there should show you that it is a battle of the mind. So
Yeah.
I encourage you as you're in this season, good, tough, neutral, tough, right? Take and make. Take and make, take and make, take and make. What we're going to talk about today, the whole point to talk about today was how are we doing this first quarter? We're one quarter in. This is a great time to just do some micro adjustments to get to what we want out of the next 75% of this year, right? So we're going to be talking about what we did right. I gave you guys a little preface to this meeting. Hopefully you had some time to preface for yourself of what those thoughts were, but what are we going to be taking and making? Let's jump into finances real quick. I'm going to share the screen. We're going to jump into these because we didn't do them last time, and I really want to get to them this time. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right.
Also, I'm a huge supporter of the RA. Just going to throw that out there. Personal bias.
I appreciate the love and support. All right.
I use Gorilla Tape to tape on my license plate under my FJ today. We kind of both did correlated things today. So
Guy's hysterical. All right. February, January, right? This is your paycheck, correct, Ethan?
Mm-hmm.
So first thing I'm looking at is I see that we go from net worth of $9,698 to net worth $11,000. That is great. I know that pay has been challenging. The number one thing I'm looking at, and the two biggest things out of this group, is one's financial and one's personal. The financial goal is what, Ethan?
Save 20%.
Save 20%. That's what this is about. Accountability to save 20%. If we want to get to this financial position for our life, part of marriage, family, all the rest of it, you must save 20%. We could rename this group the 20% group, right? That's the whole purpose, is to know your numbers and save 20% financially. The second thing, Joey, what's the second part of this that's not financial?
not financial
Yeah.
for the budget. Be good stewards with your money.
No, that's financial. Give me a better one there, Josh.
Being a good man.
What's that?
Being a good man.
Being the man you want to be, the man that God's.
I thought we were talking about budget.
All right.
What about accountability?
Well, so the accountability is the method we use to get there. Right.
Okay.
So the whole purpose is save 20% to be financially stable and become the man you want to be. I did not say the man I want you to be. I did not say the best man you could be. I said the man that you want to be, because if you define the best man, who defines best? Right? And you can't, and accountability is the actions that we watch to get there. Every time somebody wants to say, here's my goal, I want to sell 452,000 widgets. I want to make $1,279 quadrillion. Those are all things you can't quantify. So therefore, you can't control the outcome. Now, you could say in order to make do one widget, I need to do so much work here, so much work there, and so much work here, make so many calls. We'll just leave it at calls. Cool. You can control calls. So the target is, I'm going to make so many calls, which makes this and this and this, which gets me that many widgets. That makes sense? But if the goal is the widgets, you have nothing that's tangible. You have nothing that's accountable that you can track. But calls is something that you can track. Therefore, the action you can track that leads to the result. Accountability is the actions that we track, but the result that we define has to be what we want ourselves to become. And then we pick the actionable items that we can control to get there. Does that make sense? The largest thing that I'm trying to do this year behind the scenes is bring questions to the group that cause you guys to talk. My goal is to really, really step out of this within 2 years. Not out being, I'm not a part of it, but like start to shift who's bringing stuff in. Maybe bring questions, but there's a forgive me guys, I can't think, a format where we all come with, okay, here's the questions that we've presented, but we're coming in with here's what I think, here's what I think. And then little by little, this group becomes Josh is the leader this year. Ethan's the leader this year and comes up with the conversations of what we're talking about. It has a similar format every time, but the conversations come and a person leads it so that nobody's bearing that burden of leadership every single year. And then you stop paying me, right? That's the concept. And this is what one of my friends, Steve Rotman, has. Is one of the only people that has it. I've ever seen it. They're all in their 70s. One guy flies first class because he's uber wealthy at 70 years old from Switzerland every month to meet, because they all meet together when they do this group. And somebody's leading it once a year. So that's what I'm trying to create for you. It's called YPO. You can look it up, Young Presidents Organization. Very hard to get into. You have to have a lot of money or a lot of employees. These all did, and they're one of the few groups that have stayed together. Back to the point, 20% money to stay wealthy and fiscally sound and be a good steward of our money, right? That's biblical. Saving, being a good steward. The 20% is not biblical, right? It's just my number for you guys. And the other one is to become the man that we want to be, right? 20% here, Joey, Ethan, as we go into it, the money came in. What's the other?
That is money for me to cover rent for my parents a little bit. And then I did a bunch of Uber stuff, shuttling people to
Nice.
so that was pretty nice.
Cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Next time, break that down for me a little clearer, right? What's Uber? What's parents? I don't really care. We want to be very, very clear. Regardless, I like seeing this here. I like seeing it saved, and we will get there.
Also, quick note, good thing too, Ethan, just to notice, even the shopping number, like I remember that was always a thing. So seeing that was lower too is, it's just good to see. It's not just the extra money. So
I love
keep that up.
All right.
Thanks.
Going in. Oh, there's mine.
Ooh.
Break it down, Kamran.
Break it down. All right. Next up, Hellman. He's not here, so we'll do it for him fast. Hellman, open with Microsoft.
13.
January 646.
13.
So he's gone down, right? Gone down about $17,000. If we click fast enough, we see the managed investment accounts 487, down from 517. That's a big chunk of it.
Yep.
Savings, student loans, stock proceed, liquidation. Interesting that he put that there, because that would have likely been so. Hellman, you can tell us this, or you don't have to, but just FYI, when you watch this, if this came from the sale of one of these right here, then you just put it in that section. So if you sell a managed account investment and you put it into your savings, then all you would do is lower this number and raise this number. Does that make sense? You don't claim it as income. Are you with me on that, guys? If you sell stock at Nike and you buy stock in Boeing, you wouldn't be like, I sold Nike up here and then I bought Nike down here. You would just change it from Boeing to Nike, add Nike right here and put a new line. So unless it's actual income that's come to the table that wasn't part of your nest egg prior to that month, that's how you handle that. Make sense? Thumbs up? Cool. Overall, how do we save? 71%, 12,000. Well, we got to realize that 11,750. So let's just take a moment and delete that, and then delete that. And he saved 11.999%. This guy trying to slide in with a 71% to win the call. Not good, dude. Not good. All right, Joey. Let's see. You always do this 1999 to 2029. I mean, geez. All right. January, February. Okay. So you took a trip of a lifetime, and it looks like
this is only because I didn't collect my paycheck until actually this month. So if you look at February, it's
going to be a lot fatter.
Was that?
This month's going to be a lot fatter.
Oh yeah, no, because I did the math for February. And if you go up to the top, it's nothing saved. but the amount of money that would have came in from Deckers is about 5,790. So if you break that down, it would have been over, I think, over 45-50%.
Cool. Not giving it. I appreciate it. I'm glad that the idea is, but as far as this month goes, you'll lose the call and you'll probably slam it next month.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah. I just
overall,
wanted to make sure I didn't look like I just didn't
dude,
make any money.
52,000. Let me show you why we do this. We go all the way back. Kind of like your system now. 26.
Ah,
You've doubled your net worth in less than 2 years.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
there you go.
A little bit of accountability goes a long way, doesn't it?
Yes,
Is it worth $1,200 a year to do this group to you?
I'm
Joe,
already
you're
paying you. Yeah,
Keep
Or-
doubling.
Rub it
That'd
in.
be sweet.
you're 2 years away from an R8, baby. Unless Comron raises the monthly rate.
Next year's going to go up because I want to push you. Next year's probably going to be like two. I mean, one guy's paying me thousands a year. And granted, he just got a 20% increase in his. He was pissed at his boss, and it turned out to be a 20% raise for him because he turned his mindset from I'm upset to, oh shit, I never told him my expectations. And yeah, but I make thousands a year off of him for 1 hour a month, one-on-one time. But next year will probably go to 200 to 300, and I hope that's the last of it. And then I hope you guys can take it from the year after that. All right, let's go here. This goes down, open with Excel. This goes up. This goes over. Whose is this? Is this yours, banker? This looks
I don't see it yet.
that was mine.
February,
That looks like
January.
it. Yeah, it's me.
24 down to 211. Let's see, 39,
Yep.
49. Oh, it's right there. Stock and equities. 103 down to 92. There's the 10K. Makes sense. That means I don't have to chew too much here. We didn't.
Crypto and stocks. You did notice the crypto is down pretty bad too. But yeah.
Yeah, my crypto shot to shit. So
Yeah,
I
I bought though.
Yeah, I bought 10 grand in Trump coin. It's worth 1,400 and change today. That was $9,500, $8,500 I lost in the last like month because I just fuck me. I don't know what to do. Right. I literally, part of my mouth. I literally
You and
sent,
your cryptos.
I sent to my investor this. I think I've told you about it. 180,000 warrants that I bought for 200 grand. It's worth $4,000 right now. So had some bad runs over the last few years. So I was like, give it to the financial advisor. I'm done. I don't know what the bunch I'm doing. Okay. Let's go here. So Josh, money comes in a bunch. Great. Money goes out a bunch. We save here 36.57. Ethan does win the call for the most saved, which is a huge thing for me. Congratulations.
Damn.
Ethan.
For 1 month.
Aga.
Not everything just goes to crap.
Madriaga, I don't have yours. So if Natalie tells me you got it in, absolve.
No, he said he didn't have it.
Yeah, he's working the double and didn't get it in.
All right. Now wait a minute. We're an accountability group, and I love Ethan oh so much. So allow me to say this kindly, but it's kind of a cop-out. Do it earlier. And I know you could have it planned, and then all of a sudden a double comes up, and that is almost impossible. But I'm not going to lie to you. In the program where I paid $3,000 a month for 9 years, there were many nights I stayed up till 3 a.m. Not like 10 a year, but 1 or 2 a year. I'd get behind, and something would come up, and you get it done, or they would fine us $1,000 like that fast. $1,000. It doesn't matter how much money you have. $1,000 is still $1,000, right?
Yeah.
And so my encouragement to Ethan, and I say this as encouragement, is take this as a lesson. I'm not going to fine you because I know where you're at financially, but I am going to allow each one of these boys to come up with some physical activity, whether it's a push-ups, and it's on them to punish you. Because at the end of the day, the accountability isn't to just me. Okay. It's to all of us. I'm going to add a nice 6 a.m. ocean plunge. Need a video of it? That's mine. It's going to need to be at least how many seconds? A 10-second to the neck ocean plunge. That's my punishment. And these boys can add something on theirs. Think about it for the end. All right.
In my house.
I mean, personally, you can do that, but just know when that clock comes back around, Brad is scrubbing the oil off his engine.
got some potholes by my house.
Yeah, right. So
Don't
I'll let you guys text him something. The goal here being not to beat up a guy who tried hard, but to remind that gentleman that we love you. It's accountability. You got to. So maybe y'all can throw in something to do on the beach when he's freezing. All right, let's get into today's topic. We have 25 minutes and I want to honor that, right? And I had sent this to you guys. It was pretty important to me to talk about, kind of review and reflect what worked and what hasn't this first quarter. Is there anything we can sharpen or focus on or refine? And then what system and habits are or aren't working? So we're going to try to attack those. There's 3 of you, okay? There's 3 questions, 9 total sections if we were going to do it by section, and just about enough time for 2 to 3 minutes per section per person. Okay. So as we start, Banker, I'm going to let you start. Then we'll go to Joey. Then we'll go to Ethan. We'll go back, kind of keep it at that, and circle that back around a few times. But let's review and reflect on this first quarter.
Okay. So you want this first part to just be, what have I thought? Nothing in particular.
Towards your goals, how do you feel you're doing?
Yeah.
You know, they're all going to kind of bleed into each other, but just as you look over this first quarter, what's that general sense for you? And you can take time or not. You can allow more time for later. This is just a conversation about you are now at the end of your first quarter in a matter of days, right?
Yeah.
This exciting year that just 2 meetings ago we were driving some vision for. You're at 2. You're 1 quarter in. How's it goals?
So I would say that I didn't encounter, or I didn't factor in like external environments related to like what my goals could be. I mean, particularly like financially, which is a lesson for me to know that it's like, hey, you know, sometimes we set these goals riding a wave, right? Which like 2024 was a pretty good wave to ride.
So if you see me typing or I'm taking notes on what you're saying, keep going.
Yeah. So as far as like things that I cannot control, you know, I that may affect the outcomes, may not, but like I know that I need to just hone in on what I want to accomplish. So I feel that like the things that I can, more on the physical side, the reflective side, spiritually, I feel like I've been meeting those. One of my biggest goals for this year was to be more sparing with doling out my time and attention to people. Like that's something that I thought about. I was like, I'm constantly being asked for more of my time and attention by, you know, people, entities, groups I'm a part of, whatever the case is. And I was like, I need to take be intentional about saying no more this year. And I feel like I have done that. And it's been really fruitful because I've had more time to focus on what my priorities are and where I really want to be spending my time and what's truly life-giving. So I'm really happy about that. I feel like that's been a really good thing to see, you know, in Q1. So to summarize, shit goes sideways sometimes in the markets, in our jobs, and in things that we can't control, and that's okay. You just got to keep focusing on what the end goal is. And I've been happy to take time and slow down. That's been a big win for me so far.
All right, Joey.
I think, I mean, to start, I mean, a lot of kind of what this month was defined. I mean, the first quarter was defined by was kind of new experiences. So that's been really good. I think just kind of even personally, just going through something like a solo travel trip or starting a new role where there's not as much hand holding as before. It really showed myself my growth I've had so far, as far as maturity and as far as responsibility. You know, like I, you know, went to Europe and I didn't miss a flight, didn't have to, you know, cancel anything. Like I did everything completely by the books. Like work has been delivered everything, you know, that I need to. And I think it's just been encouraging to show that growth and that maturity. You know, even looking at my goals right now, you know, it also is a good lesson in adjustment, because a lot of my goals, especially in regard to physical health, were kind of derailed when I, you know, busted up my shoulder playing rugby, and then, you know, for a while there, I kind of wallowed a bit. And it was just a good lesson on even when things don't go exactly right. And the same thing happened with my trip too, even when things didn't happen exactly as I planned them to. You know, learning how to
Adjust.
adjust on the fly. Yeah. And in turn, something that could be inherently bad into something that's an opportunity to benefit in the long run. So it's definitely been a quarter of um, confidence building for sure. It's been a huge thing. And then, yeah, just, learning to trust myself more when it comes to,
Good.
yeah.
Yeah, some things I'll say about that in a minute. Go ahead, Ethan.
Mine, I feel like it's been going on since January. Is just trying to figure out work, not finding work as quickly as I thought I would work as quickly as I thought. Um, Trying to figure out if I push to stay in Santa Barbara or go back to Sacramento. I mean, those are kind of the things I had going into the beginning of this year. And I've kind of got to a point now where it's like, well, I don't have a job. I can't stay in Santa Barbara without a job. At this point, everything is kind of forced my hand. So that's where I am now. Yeah, I mean, moving forward, I think changes I want to make are, it's not even changes that I want to make, it's changes that I need to make and have to be made, is just finding new work, um, settling back into my parents' place up in Sacramento, and then, yeah, just going from there. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
So you could say that it didn't quite go as planned, and work being a big part of it.
Yep.
Right. I have so many thoughts, but I want to keep you guys talking if that's all right with you. Because I don't just want to splooge. That's not the right word. Spew. That's probably a better
Hopefully you're not splooging.
word. God help me. Um,
This is recorded. Yeah, this is recorded. Nice.
that's so that how can you guys sharpen what can you do, what can you refine, what can you adjust? Josh, Joey, I don't know why I get so fucked up here. um, Josh, when I think of the waves in the markets, one of the biggest things that comes with maturity is, like you had said, some of those clients of yours have seen it before. It's a little less bothered by it. Is that a fair reassessment of what you said for those 3 to 4 people?
Yeah. Yep.
I think that's a big part that you guys just can't. No, Lord, give me the better word there. It's a big part of what I want for you guys to realize jobs are going to come and go. My brother lost his job a few years ago, 27 years at Microsoft, right? He was at Ford for a few years, and there's a good chance he loses his job. So as much as that's really hard for you, Ethan, that's just life. Like, getting upset, getting overwhelmed, getting beat down by it, like, it's not going to change it. And the outcome is just something you have to do, you know? And Josh, as you're talking about those things, like, I didn't expect that wave. I didn't expect that, you said the wave of ups and downs. Like, you didn't, but it's okay. It's part of it. And clicking into that, I don't necessarily want to have this phone call for the 42nd time, right, with somebody, but realizing that that's part of the role. How can I have a good attitude?
Yep.
How can I just be okay with it? How can I realize that's just part of the season? And there's a value in that. And Joey, I can't say enough about how proud I am. I feel like it's not going to be a perfect example, but I feel like you're this little boy that's kind of come out and realized I can handle myself, Dad. And he's like, yeah, you can, like, and I say that with pride, and I'm proud of you sort of way, not as a to belittle you, but like, you're realizing, yeah, you can take trips and handle it yourself. Yeah, you can get a job. Yeah, you can manage your own bills. You can get, like, you're fully capable of being a man, a human, right? Like, you're able to make those decisions and to handle your life. And I'm very, very proud of that. It's very good. And this is the right season to see it. It's also a very elementary of a point, right? The next point is then how to grow and how to give back from your excess.
Mhm.
Okay. So let's talk real quick. Let's go back around, Josh. Hit for me, if we can try to hit both the questions at once, if you will. How can we sharpen the focus? And are there habits that you can do or are doing that are helping in that adjustment? So what are we going to be adjusting? What habits are we going to double down on? Let's try to hit those together.
Sure. So I think a lot of it is the perspective change. And I think a lot of it has been, like, kind of what I was mentioning before, just slowing down and being content with the situation at hand and then reevaluating and trying to pursue, the goal continually. So I feel like sharpening for me would be continually reflecting, on a constant basis. So there's not a lot that I would change. I'm just trying to further develop those habits, like that's where I feel like I have lost it a bit. Like I feel like in 22, or even in 2021, I had really good habits to slow down, reflect, reconsider, reprioritize. And I haven't been doing that. And I knew that it was beneficial back then, and I saw the benefit of it. And honestly, a lot of where I'm at now is because of that reflection and time and writing too, and just self-discovery. So I feel like I just need to dive back into that.
Would it be crazy for you to shift your mindset from another conversation to I'm honored to be the one they're calling?
Sure. So you're talking about like work specifically.
On that one issue.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in my role, like a lot of my responsibility is just being like that mouthpiece for the company, right? So I mean, yeah, like that's what I mentioned before. I was like, at least we are talking, right? So like, it is good to feel that I have some degree of credibility. So yes, I think that is a good perspective change.
Maybe I misunderstood it, but I thought when you said at least we're talking, it was more from the perspective of I need to be talking to people so this produces an opportunity to talk to them, and that's a good thing. But to rather be that A, the company trusts you, which is one piece, but not the important one, to be the actual client trusts you.
Uh-huh.
However you look at it from one of those three angles, good for you because you're having the conversations, that betters your thing, good for the company because they trust you to have it and you're learning from your employers, or good for the fact that they actually trust you because they're people. All of that comes back to how great you've done, how good you are, and the honor and privilege that call produces, rather than the nuance of the same call again.
Uh-huh.
And if that shift is made, you can still put boundaries around it, being like, hey, let's have this conversation. It's very good. I'm going to set 20 minutes aside or 15 minutes aside so you can set that boundary because you need to, or only do 2 calls a day or 4, whatever it is. But your mindset shifts into what an honor, what a privilege. And I think as well as I do, the person on the other, you can tell if I'm prepared when I come to this meeting. You don't see me sit and read it. You don't see me take notes. You don't see me draw out lines, but you can tell if I'm prepared or if I'm just shooting from the hip.
Right.
Same is true about your clients.
Right.
They can tell if you're prepared. They can tell if you feel honored or you feel bothered. Doesn't mean you're structured, which is a big issue that I don't do well, and I need to do better because I stay for an hour and a half on calls. But I think that would be my big takeaway as you go in here is that mindset shift to an honor from all 3 angles. Good for you and good for your employer. And then that changes your internal attitude, which in the end will make those calls more successful and likely make you more profitable.
Yeah.
So you're doing really well with the spiritual, really well with the physical. You had said one of the goals is to slow it down, right? And be present in that moment. So crushing those, little bit of frustration around the wave of the market and where it's at, rightfully so.
Right.
So I'd say that's probably your biggest adjustment is just controlling attitude, controlling perspective. And that might take that 1 or 2 degrees of separation for the rest of the year in how you approach each call and hopefully increase that a little bit. How's that wrap?
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
Joey, talk to me. What are some things, what are habits that are working or aren't working? What can you do to shift? You're fairly hitting your markers pretty well for the first quarter, I would say. Not as much.
Yeah, I think, well, the first thing that comes to mind is things that I could improve, sharpen is the networking side of things. I continue to struggle, feeling like I'm worth the time of the individuals that I have get contacts for. I'm a very like logical, like when it comes to talking to people, I tend to put myself in their shoes and try and imagine what they would think. That goes with girls as well, where it's like, well, they wouldn't want to talk to me because blank, 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 opposed to just, going and just talking. And the funny thing is in my life, the amount of success I've gotten with networking and women, just going up and talking to them is like 90%.
Yeah.
But I still put myself in their shoes and say, well, if I was them, I would never, or like they're probably thinking this. And getting that mindset out and really locking on to if you never ask, it's going to be no anyway mindset. It's something I can sharpen up on because, I'm at the point now where it's like I feel confident in my ability to be a good employee. I feel confident in my work ethic. I feel confident in my ability to be personable and charming, but it's like I just don't put it into action out of, I guess, an undiagnosed fear of either rejection or feeling like I'm being pitied or pandered to. So just sharpening that kind of self confidence and not feeling like I'm bothering people and that I have something to bring to the table is very important. And then habits, I think just like I'm really getting a hold. New medication's helping a lot, but getting a hold on, really like being intentional about health and sleep. And it's like, I had a phase where I was working 40 nights, 40 hours a week at the bar, and then also working, 9 to 5 at Deckers. And that was just kind of let myself go a little bit health wise. And then I rugby season, I got hurt, and now I'm coming out of that, and I'm like, okay, let's really focus on limiting, drinking and smoking and getting a calorie deficit and walk, 10,000 steps every day. Like those habits are starting to form. And it's just really positive for me. I know a lot of it was circumstantial, but it's just good to feel like I have the power to do that now for myself.
Right. There is a thing, mnemonic device. Have you heard of this term?
Yeah.
What is a mnemonic device?
It's like some type of like, it can be like an acronym or like something similar to help you like remember a name or an idea.
Cool. I would really strongly challenge you to use a mnemonic device for the idea, because something I heard you say a couple of times was that you put yourself in their shoes. You said that twice. You said that what they would think, but everything you said after that was always started with a negative. They wouldn't want. They don't want.
Yeah.
Well, that's not neutral. That doesn't start at a neutral. What would they think? That's starting at a negative of what they think. Do you see that? Okay. You're not even being neutral to yourself. I'm not even saying it's a bad thing to think that, but you're starting negative on yourself. A mnemonic device would be to take a ring that would just maybe be on the finger here that would annoy you all day, right? But it sits there. A bracelet, something that I want to be physically either in your pocket or on your person that that you could literally remind yourself, okay, here's what I'm thinking, but I need to at least be neutral. What would they think? Why would they think that? I don't know. It's a good question. But better question would be, regardless of what they would think, what's the outcome I want? If she is meant to be your wife, wouldn't you be a good husband?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be good for her?
Yeah.
So if they are going to take your ideas for work, wouldn't they be good ideas?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if they don't choose to go with the idea, are you putting up so many ideas that they're going to be annoyed? Maybe. Is that worth not trying? Probably not.
No.
The idea is I would recommend a necklace, something that annoys you a little bit, that's that tangible item that reminds you to say, I'm not going to start from a negative perspective, and I'm going to be asking, what's the outcome? And if that is the outcome I desire, and if that is the outcome I desire, would that be good for them?
Yeah.
Out of that, I'm going to be bold enough to try.
Yeah. Look from their perspective, but in a different way. right?
it's
Like,
just,
would
I'm
it be?
just saying that your perspectives all started negative.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you can get to neutral, that's one thing, but I don't even want you to go there. I want you to go with, what is it that I want? What is it that I'm becoming? I want to be a guy that takes care of myself and flies somewhere. Look, you did it. I want to be a guy that handles myself and knows healthy, and you've made some really good choices. But you can't. We want to change that habit to be. I don't want to start by thinking negative. I want to start by either thinking neutral. Would this be good? What would they like it or not like it? Maybe not. I don't think they're going to like it. Okay, well, what do you want? Well, I want them to do this, and I think it would be good. Why? Well, great. Then I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to do something. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you fall flat on your face. I don't care if you skyrocket. I want you to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll get something. I'll get some
Something
ice.
that just reminds you every time you touch it, I am going to do what I'm trying to do and not worry about their opinion first, and definitely not from the negative. Okay.
Mhm.
Think on that. Let's see if that shift helps you these next few months. Bell.
Yeah. I mean, mine really feels like I need to be growing in just motivation and putting in the time and the effort to reach the goals. Because I mean, I'm just looking past on the last year, and it's like savings gone down, expenses went up. I moved a bunch. You know, I wasn't making that 20% at all. I didn't get a second job. You know, it was a good kind of juxtaposition between me and Joey in the sense of like Joey was getting the second job. He was putting in a lot of effort. He was doing all this stuff. And then you have me who's like not doing any of that. And you can see the difference of where we are. And so I think a lot of this year is just I need to change that mindset. I need to start making myself uncomfortable. I mean, we've had conversations. I mean, it's every meeting. There's always like you need to be pushing yourself, you need to be doing this. So I think it's got to the point where it's like, it's not a choice at this point, which I almost like that. I like it just being one option. I don't have to worry about, you know, being like, oh, I'm gonna take the easy path or the hard path. It's like, no, now it's just the hard path. So that's kind of nice in the sense of my direction for me. But I mean, that just kind of feels like I need to be growing and sharpening myself and, changing my ways. So that's kind of where I feel.
We've had a lot of conversations, you and I call you more than I call everybody else out of a healthy concern, but I want their take on it. Like I want their buy-in. This is your friend, right? And the biggest thing I keep telling him, and now I'm telling you guys for accountability for him, is I want 2 jobs. I want 2 jobs immediately. I don't care if it's McDonald's and Dairy Queen. Like there is a pride in showing up, working for 2 jobs while you go home and sling resumes on LinkedIn, Indeed, right? Guys, this is an accountability, and I am doing my part to hit that 20%. I'm doing my part not to make excuses. I'm doing my part to show up. And maybe you're not paying because you're living at your parents' house, so you're gonna be saving 70%. That's great, but then don't cop out by not having 2 jobs. You are fully capable of 2 jobs. Single, not in a relationship, no children, in your 20s, 2 jobs. And I want you guys, Banker and Vernick, to see this because am I saying that right? Vernick?
At this point, whatever you want to do is fine.
Not even close, is it? Anyways, but I want them because one of the things I also say about you to your face is I think you have the biggest heart in the group. You've shown up every time to drive me, take help, show up, you show up. And what I fear you want to do is belittle yourself or think bad about yourself or think I haven't, and you get into this little depressed state, which the only way out of that is to just do. And the good news is it's the easiest thing in the world. You show up tomorrow and get a job at Olive Garden. I got one, and all of us will champion you. And the truth is, it's only a matter of days. By the end of 2025, you'll have a career job, and you'll probably still keep some kind of side job because you'll like the cash.
Yeah,
True.
And Ethan, honestly, man, once you do all the hard work and you get that first job, next time you're in a situation where you need one, you know what to do. It's not intimidating at all. So realize that this is going to be the hardest way to do it, hardest time to do it. And after you get it, I could have quit. I should have quit just at free time. And now I'm like, I'm keeping this job. I'm going to pick up more hours next week. Because I'm like, a lot of nights I'm doing nothing, and you'll love having that opportunity. So it's a real positive.
And you feel good about yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My mentor lost his company. I told you about this guy, millions down to nothing, and he still doesn't have a job to this day. And I'm done. Like, he's like, well, I was doing this and I could have done that. And, it's more valuable for me to look for jobs. No, it's not. It's more valuable for you to bring a paycheck home to your wife and kids. I don't care if it's a Burger King.
Yeah. I agree with what Kamran said about showing up. I actually was just talking to this about this with my boss today earlier. How like in the first 2 years that I was at NASDAQ, so I'm coming up on 5 years now. That's all that I did. And Joey, this is related to what you mentioned too about being in a room and feeling like you're not contributing anything. Because I told him that I was like, I feel like I didn't contribute at anything. Like I would just show up. I was just the one that was like, I'm here. You guys kind of need to help me. I don't really know what's going on. I don't really know the markets that well, but I'm here to learn. Whatever. Like I'm willing. Like if anything, at least I'm willing. And then I could see it in the third, fourth year. Now, especially at this point where I'm hitting my stride, where it's like just because of all those times that I did show up and I was just showing up, I absorbed so much from these people that knew what they were talking about, these veterans in their field, the guys that know the lingo and the jargon of the financial markets extremely well. And it's like I learned the language basically after showing up and providing nothing for those, like as far as like the value in the meeting, right? It's not like I wasn't providing anything, but like related and pertinent information, didn't have any of that. Now it's like it's just second nature. More or less, because it's like I just know based off of the questions that they're asking, based off of what is going on in the news for that day, what is on top of mind for these guys. And it's just because I just showed up and I showed up and I showed up again and again and again. And I felt like kind of a loser for the first 2 years, really. I mean, which is a long time. Like concerning a career, like I was like, I'm not confident in what I'm doing, but I'm here. So, but anyways, just pointing that out is like I've seen that cycle, and it takes some time.
Well, and that's what they say in in a lot of institutions, especially in college. They're like, literally the best thing you can do for your education is just show up.
Yeah.
To your classes. And as long as you do that, like 99% of people pass.
Yeah.
And and that's actually very encouraging because that's exactly how I felt. And it does kind of give me a lot of hope for future in my career. So.
Yeah.
Every one of these guys cares about you, E, and we all believe and know you're able, but you need to go do it. And I don't want to sugarcoat it.
Yep.
Get a job. And
Action, baby.
And I don't care.
Action.
I want you to stay in Santa Barbara, Ethan. Let's give you a job, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's expensive, but the truth is, if Santa Barbara is what you want, then go get it. If it's not what you want, you're okay in Sacramento, then get that. Get a job. You'll find a way. Because you know what? There's a lot of people from different south of the border that don't necessarily have the credentials to be working here, and they still live here.
Yep.
Like that's honest. And so if the Appfolio job didn't come in and you want to live there, then go work 2-3 jobs. When I was first married, I had 3 jobs. I waited tables. I drove a car I went to a temp agency and picked up a temp job. You can literally do that tomorrow. 4 different temp agencies. And I picked up a temp job going, I need something I can drive cars on weekends. Now you have Uber, right? But I drove cars on weekends to this company, sells testing service with 2 guys in the back testing cell phones. And then I had a full-time job as a realtor. 3 jobs. So you're capable. You need to define it, what you're going to do and where, and then you need to send it to these guys, and then you need to do it.
Yep.
Okay? Let us know.
I love you. Only thing is, you all failed in one way. None of you put your $100 payment to me on your things.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna do it after. It's after the services have been rendered.
Oh, I meant it's not on your pay. It's not on your numbers.
Oh,
yeah,
well, my
right.
Venmo balance is like the Twilight Zone. It doesn't really exist. It's just money in, money out.
$100. It should say payment for education or payment for.
That's true. I missed that one. Yeah.
I love you guys.
It's because it's worth so much to me. I don't even see the money leaving. That's it. That's the reason. I knew there was some excuse. That's it. Yeah.
Ethan, we love you. We believe in you. You should believe in yourself, and I do believe you do. You're a great man. The minute you get that job, we're going to celebrate big time.
Don't parry on. Don't parry on.
All right, guys. God bless. Talk soon.
See you, boys.
Bye-bye.
See ya.